Today we're going to continue focusing on solving exponential equations, and we are going to circle back to a skill that we learned in Unit 1 known as U substitution. So remember, with U substitution, you are replacing your variable in the quadratic equation with the letter U. And the reason why we do that is because we want to make our equation easier to factor. So remember that U typically always matches up with our B term in the equation. So in this situation, I want U to equal e to the x. So now I have to ask myself, how many times do I need to substitute U for the first part of the equation so that it equals e raised to the 2x? So essentially, if I show the math for this, e to the x times e to the x is equal to e squared x. So this is the same as saying u times u is equal to u squared. So if I go in and replace all of my variables with the letter u, my new equation becomes u squared plus 6u minus 16 is equal to 0. So I'm not going to show the steps to factor a quadratic equation because that is something we should already be comfortable doing. But here I need to ask myself, what are two numbers that I'm going to be able to multiply to give me negative 16 and add together to give me positive 6? So here I have u plus 8 and u minus 2. Now that I've factored this polynomial, I have to plug back in e to the x for u. So this becomes e to the x plus 8 and e to the x minus 2. And then finally, I need to set both of these factors equal to 0. And here, I will need to use my natural log properties to solve these. So I have e to the x plus 8 is equal to 0. And e to the x minus 2 is equal to 0. So if I move 8 to the other side, I get e to the x is equal to negative 8, and I get e to the x is equal to positive 2. So I want to get x all by itself, and right now, x is sitting up in the exponent with e. Okay, so we know that if I multiple both sides by natural log, that's going to make e disappear. So the final way to solve this equation would be to take the natural log of e to the x is equal to the natural log of negative 8. Same thing here, the natural log of e to the x is equal to the natural log of 2. So in this situation, natural log cancels with e, so my final answer becomes x is equal to the natural log of negative 8, and x is equal to the natural log of 2. However, there is something that we need to pay attention to. You can never, never, never take the natural log of a negative number. So this is not a solution. So my only answer in this problem is x is equal to the natural log of 2. We're going to go ahead and do one more example problem using the same method. So here our equation is set equal to 5. So before I can even begin, I need to move 5 over to the left-hand side of the equation and set this equal to 0. So I have 4e to the 4x plus 8e to the 2x minus 5 equals 0. And again, u is always going to match up with my b term. So u here is equal to e to the 2x. And again, e to the 2x times e to the 2x is going to give me e to the 4x. So that's the same as saying u times u is equal to u squared. So this makes my new equation 4u squared plus 8u minus 5 is equal to 0. So now I need to find two numbers that multiply to give me -5 and add to give me 8. So I end up with the factors 2u plus 5 and 2u minus 1. And we continue with the same process as shown in the previous problem. We have to replace u with e to the 2x. So 2u becomes 2e to the 2x plus 5. And 2e to the 2x minus 1. We set these equal to 0. And then we start solving. And now finally we have to use our natural log property because that is the only way to get rid of e. And always remember, if you do something to the left-hand side of the problem, you have to do it to the right-hand side of the problem. So I end up with 2x is equal to the natural log of -5/2, and 2x is equal to the natural log of 1/2. So again, I don't even need to continue solving this problem right here because this part of the equation gives me natural log of a negative number, which is not a solution. So I'm just going to finish solving this side right here. So again, I have natural log of 1/2 and 2x, so I want to divide by 2. So my final answer is going to equal 1/2 natural log of 1/2. And always remember that dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2.